Morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Yeah, well, time check. Give me a second. It's 3:56 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. It's still the September 24th, 2023. It's Sunday. Way too damn early for me being up at this morning. I'm not even quite sure why the hell I'm up this morning. Except maybe to see something about from NASA, who is going to be sending out a special delivery from outer space into their hands out in Utah to examine the universe in the palm of their hands, basically. I was saying hi to a fellow tuber out there. Apparently, he joined the club of getting account flagged again. They don't like him for some reason or something. I don't know. I know they don't like me sometimes. I only got flagged once, but I'm still waiting for the other flags to come in. Okay, so what's been happening? Catching up on work, schoolwork. Now, I've got a professor, uh, and she's trying to get us to do an essay about things have changed from moral to immoral, or maybe vice versa on that one. And originally, I wanted to do something about alcohol and marijuana usage. It had to be something I can relate more to. I can relate to the alcohol, but I was doing something worse. I want to do something better on that one. I'm going to bypass that, but use a little bit of an element on that one. And this one's going to be needing a lot of work on this one. I want to do about mental health. Now, during the COVID nightmare we got locked up, basically. Things got suspended, and we were stuck in our homes for a long while for safety reasons. And we didn't. The hospitals were getting overrun. There were people dying left and right. We had strict policies happening, utilizing these damn things. I got an army of them. It's necessary that I have this army here, not because of the COVID nightmare. Well, maybe that, but it also makes a little bit of a filtration, just in case we get into another smoke-filled sky again. I want to make sure I'm ready for this crap. I've already got. Okay, okay. I've already got my bigger mask. Still ready to rock and roll. Still got to get the filters replaced on that one. Yeah, chicken scratches again, math again. But the one I was going to talk about is the essay. That's a different thing altogether right there. Yeah, here we go. Drop it again. Bastards. Okay, so in my situation, I want to do something about mental health. What kind of a stigma have we had for the past 100 years or more than that? A lot more than that. For the people who are losing their minds left and right and didn't have any common sense. Apparently, at different countries and different areas of the world in different times had a either shush it up or stick him into an isolated building with a lot of other nut jobs in there having conniption fits, and we just left them at that. Just left them there to rot or survive or maybe get better. But if they weren't going to get better, they were stuck there. They were stuck there. Now, bringing it up to our standards in our country here, we did have a few places like that, if I understood history correctly. And I still got to do some deep dives on this one. That treating mental health wasn't exactly a state of the art because we still didn't know and we didn't understand how the mind worked. We really didn't. You could look at the damn brain and maybe see we were still like, what is this great stuff we do in our heads? But besides doing the neurological functions of our body here, chemical reactions, triggering electrical impulses to automatic or automatic, let's say automatic functioning in our bodies, regulations, regulatories, and stuff like that. Our breathing, our eating, our living, anything like that. The constant sensual inputs that we have with our five senses. The brain has to keep constantly processing this thing. And then there is the human emotional situation we got going on. There is the things that may or may not be traumatic, or something happened to where our neurochemistry went crazy and changed our behavior a bit. So we are either sane or we're considered classified insane. Now, if I understood it correctly, in the state of California, we had a few facilities out here. And some people just thought it were a drain on resources because why are we keeping the nut jobs in there? If I'm not mistaken, and I probably am because I'm still going to be doing a deep dive on this one anyway, state of California. Um, Governor Ronald Reagan at the time decided to cut funding for the mental institutions out there. Opened up the door, and the guys would go out there and just, my God, it's the real world. What do we do now? Oh, look, there's people to harangue. Let's go harangue them. Okay, over dramatic, but you get the point. They were let loose. To this day, we still don't have the funding necessary to install more psychiatric institutes. We have outpatient counseling left and right. There is sometimes that we actually have to put people into special institutions because of the heinous acts they've done. I'm not just talking about a crazy guy going into a store and stealing stuff because he's hungry at this point. No, I'm talking about a crazy guy having a weapon over here and start hurting people left and right and making himself like or herself as a dangerous threat. Now, before Reagan shut down things back in the 60s, we actually were able to put people in incarcerations, but the problem is they still weren't humane enough. They really weren't. At the time, that was the only humane things that they could do. There are a few things. And they still had other treatments that seemed barbaric at this time. Shock therapy. Throwing enough voltage or amperage into your neurochemistry, into the synapses, to see if we can realign a person's behavior by throwing electricity into them. That's supposed to work. Of course, we could try drugs, drug therapies, as long as they're willing enough to take the damn thing. Some people don't even like it. They like the freedom without being enslaved to the medications, according to what some people keep saying on the streets. So they don't do it. Schizophrenics, well, they're definitely out of their heads, literally. So now, so now, we got this going on. We've had recently a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy murdered by a nut job. And if they find this guy is not mentally capable of understanding what's going on, they may rule this guy to be put into another institution if we actually have any beds left. And he's not going to be released for a hell of a long while unless he proves that he's still sane. And it sucks that we still have murders happening because of mental illness going on. Now, if we get personal at this point in my situation, I'd gotten to PTSD because of my medical conditions. Not because of having crooked hips, but because it kept dying on a table too many damn times. And it kept bringing me back to life, which changed my own damn personality every which way. And then me not trusting the doctors because of the stuff they had to put me through to keep my ass alive. So, for a long while, they considered patients who are undergoing what they thought physical trauma, and it was just all in their head. They called it white lab coat syndrome. Really not coverable, but it's just a fear or condition that people have. It's not considered like ADHD or any kind of psychosis. It's just a bit of a fear that they have concerning about white lab coats. Well, hell, when you go into a damn triage in the doctor's office and they want to get workup on you, what's the first thing they're going to do? Hook you up to a BP machine. Or they do it themselves. And then they notice the high blood pressure. They'll ask it, do you have hypertension? No, you're just scaring the living crap out of me. Okay, white light coat syndrome. I had to fight a doctor and a shrink on this one. I had to fight him. And I made my case to him that I didn't have white lab coat syndrome. I had PTSD because of these assholes all my life. They gave it to me without even realizing it. Trying to save my ass, they put me through the ring of fire. I had an old country doctor who kept using me as a dartboard. Anytime John had a sniffle or something like that, blood work, blood work, blood work. Mariani's not cooperating at this point over here. Now, either he cooperates or I'm sending him to the community hospital next door to the laboratory and let them get the blood out of him. They started knowing me by my name during that time. Mr. Weaver, are you not going to give us any trouble? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Well, it's either this or you face your mother. I know, damn it. Why am I here? You're sick. We need to find out what's going on. You had to do this. Strap him in. My doctor, God rest his soul, Marvin Stolpeg, tried to do everything he could in his own country style best of keeping my ass alive, but he really didn't like kids back talking to him. They were afraid of him. They were afraid of the damn needles getting poked and prodded and everything else going on. I heard it. I heard it. And I didn't like it either. And Ma always had a problem with me on that one. Now, John, relax. No, he's going to stab me again, Ma. Here comes the nurse. They're going to do blood work on me. What's that they're going to do? Oh, they're going to give me medications. Oh, no. John, you need the vaccinations. No, I don't. John, we talked about this at home. We had PTSD before we even knew about the damn thing. And no wonder they kept asking, why do you have hypertension? Fear. Trauma. I mean, shit, what was it? I got into a car accident at the age of 10 years old. Earlier than that, I almost came that close of eating a tire while breaking my elbow in 3 places. If that wasn't traumatic enough. And both times I had to spend time in the hospital on that one. One was I almost died both of them there. And it wasn't easy to deal with it. I mean, every time I kept going into a doctor's office, even as a teenager, the trauma was still there and it was still building up because every time I still had to get a blood work, I'm like, oh God, no, I don't want to go through this. You know, Ma had to bribe me with cheese and crackers all the time. Yeah. I got into the teenage years at this point. Stolpik moved his office in North Hollywood to another portion of North Hollywood, right by a hospital. And in this particular medical building, at least they had a pharmacy. And you had your little gimcracks, and you had your little toys, and you had your little snacks out there. What the hell was that again? Cheese and crackers all the time. The only way to deal with my fear is cheese and crackers, right? But I was still sporting a cotton ball and a tape. And it still hurt. They can't drill blood out of here because the veins have already been realigned. Right after I had this damn thing broken, there's no way in hell they're going to be doing it. So I got scar tissue in here somewhere. The needles have improved, thinner but lower volume going through the tube. But it's thinner. It's a lot easier to deal with instead of the damn lance or hollowed out lance that they're going to be shoving into my damn skin. My brother would call it a harpoon. And I had the harpoon. I had the harpoons, and I don't like the harpoons. They're pain in the asses. So, it was contributing to the mental health. And then, I guess, having everybody else die on me left and right, there was no therapy to deal with grieving, mourning, or anything else. You had to be work. You had to be. You had to be. 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 Couldn't deal with anything else. You couldn't deal. You couldn't deal with the grieving. You couldn't deal with the pain. You couldn't deal with anything else going on inside your head, unless of course you're going to be shelling out the money to a shrink. Well, I didn't have the money, and it didn't have the insurance to do that. So there was an earthquake that happened back in '94, and I was working in a different building altogether. Trillium Center out in Moore Center. Trillium building, two towers, both set on rollers, according to what the guys were telling us. And when the '94 kicked in, there was a lot of structural damage around the area. There was some structural damage in the area, but it was cosmetic on the inside. It still reinforced feelings of total terror when it comes down for geologic functions. I've been through the 91, try it again, 71 quake with Sylmar, and subsequent quakes we had after that. I get jittery when it comes down to anything beyond a 4. 2 or 3, I can barely notice it, and my blood pressure goes up a little bit. It gets elevated. My tension level goes skyrocketing. We're talking about a 4, yeah, my attention span's right there. So yeah, it's scary. I deal with a constant fear of quakes. So it's always elevated at that point. I'm always dealing with medical, and that's always a contention right there. I, I finally went to see shrinks and therapists concerning about my own mental illness happening. When Ma died, I had to see a therapist. I broke. I swore to myself before then I'd never go back to a doctor's office unless I absolutely physically needed to go to one. And I did. And I'm still having a hard time these days because I'm still trying to convince myself to go back to a doctor to see whether or not they're thinking I'm still sane or if I'm still healthy. I'm not. I know I'm not. I got pains in the feet, I got pains in the back, and I got pains in the neck. And I got my brain trying to kill me. My mind, my feelings, my soul. Yeah. When Bob died, a lot of things changed in me. I mean, I've had other friends, family, pets, and they do chipping away at me a lot. But this one, and then what was it, months later, a best friend and surrogate mother, she passes away, and that, oh God. And then another pet died. And then lastly, my big brother dies. So within the past 11 years, I've been a broken man. And during that time, I had to prove a case to a court to tell them, yeah, I'm not healthy. I'm not well anymore. I don't know what that is anymore. I can't work. I had a tire fall on my face and damn near got killed, and nobody cared about it. I had a job, and I'm out of that job for a long while, thank God. It's been about a year. It's actually been about a decade. It's been that long. 2012? My God. And I don't want to go back over there. I don't. Here's the thing concerning about the PTSD I got. I mean, it's one thing if I'm trying to get stuff online from the same company, but it's harder for me to walk into the places. I hadn't been into this particular retail store, Walmart. I haven't been into that place for years. I hadn't done any shopping in there for years. I started to get flashbacks. I started to get problems with my breathing, my blood pressure. I started to faint. It also gets worse, especially when I have to deal with another rival outfit that I hadn't had any issues with. But it doesn't matter. My brain is wired to say that if I'm going to be going into a brick and mortar store like that, then I don't need it. If I'm going to be putting myself through a physical and mental torment, then it's not needed for me to be there. Just stay the hell away from it. Otherwise, say hello to shutdown. I think I would have panicked if somebody actually put me into a, a, a 3-day hold just to see if I'm going to be alive or not after that. I think I'd go nuts. Because I don't think I'd deal with it. I don't think I'd be able to deal with it. I'm dealing with a hospital situation over there in a place I didn't want to go in the first place. I mean, it was bad enough when I see my family, when they were still alive, going through their own medical problems. Not once had my brother gone back into a hospital concerning about mental issues. Always medical with his heart and God knows what, and his knees and his back. And Ma, everything else. But she hadn't gone in there for her mental health, though. No. But she was stuck on medications. And the medications were supposed to help her out a great deal. And if she was away from some of the medications, she'd be really having conniption fits. That's what scares the hell out of me. That's what really scares the hell out of me. When you're totally dependent upon medications for modification of your behavior and stuff. Makes me scared of the medical science we've got out there. Because neurochemistry is one of those frontier places that they're still trying to analyze what makes the human brain so special. What makes the mental faculty so special? What's going on inside of it? Scary, isn't it? For me, it is. Because they're using me as a damn lab rat and I don't want it. This is the reasons why I'm talking about stuff like this. This is mental health at this point. It's my own personal experience. But I need to get the scientific basis going on. I need to get the facts going on regarding this. Now, dealing with mental health, I could go back into alcoholism. I could flood my damn brain with so much alcohol and be chemically stimulated. I'll be burning out a few things left and right. I'll be turning out to be what they call a wet brain. Unable to get sober, unable to recover, unable to recognize reality and life around me. I'll just be wanting to get more and more of that drink until my body decides, okay, that's it, kill this kid. And my organs will fail. My brain will just say, bye. We're permanently out to lunch. We just shut down. That's all I need. But there are factors concerning about alcoholism there. These days, we've got I need to get more Tylenol for my back. These days, we've got people who are going through outpatient left and right to get stabilized. I didn't say cured, I said stabilized. So, yeah, I've got a basis to write a story about that one instead of just alcoholism. Mental health has got to be the one to deal with. Well, we had the COVID nightmare. It took a toll on the kids and adults out there. I mean, it was bad enough before the COVID kicked in. We still had high suicide rates, and we had it in teenagers. We had it in soldiers. We had it in regular people. Different things happened to them that forced them to re-examine and reevaluate their lives, that they were going to kill themselves. If they couldn't get better, they might as well kill themselves. And they did. They did. I had a friend of mine once in junior high, Jimmy Baker. His brother is Greg Baker, he's about 2 years older. And to me, they were short kids. But, I like these guys. I was a little bit taller for junior high during that time. Growth spurts. Jimmy always got picked on by his brother. He never got supported. This was in the 7th grade. So it started the second semester of the 7th grade. I found out that he died. He hung himself. Those who knew him missed the crap out of him. Having a friend's death like that, yeah, that affects you even up to an adult stage like right now. I didn't realize that he was going through a lot of issues. I mean, he kept saying something about it, but when you're kids, you say shit left to right, and you really don't know or understand the pain unless you really see it. I was seeing it, but I still didn't recognize it. I didn't know how to recognize it. I didn't know a damn thing. I should have said something to an adult during that time, and I didn't. Here comes the guilt trip at this point. I could have prevented a damn thing. Somebody could have prevented a damn thing, and nobody did. No one lost a kid. And there's a lot of like him out there to this day. People think it's a fun. People think that mental health is just all in your head. Yeah, it is all in your head, and unfortunately, it's the decisions that you make will be affecting everybody around. Why I keep doing my channel left and right? As the Diary of the Griever named John Weaver, I deal with my grieving, my mourning, and my mental illness. My mental breakdowns. Sometimes I'm talking about my health or anything else in my life. Records. I wanted it on tape. If I'm going through an emotional situation, I got to talk about it. I don't want to hide from the damn thing. I want to talk about it. I need to get it out there on record. Because something's going to happen, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And I need it now on a record. Any event that I'm not going to be available anymore, I need these things on record. Maybe it'll help somebody else out down the road. But for me, the tape was this channel has been a lifeboat for me, a memory archive of sorts, something that could put me back through a normal of sanity, a semblance of sanity. Even talking about this thing scares the hell out of me. It makes me nervous as hell. I'm already feeling my blood pressure going up. And if you notice some of the twitches I've been doing, sometimes I'm not even aware of them. If I am, it's just because I'm dredging up a lot of crap. Some people say it should have been buried alive and just stayed buried and not be dealt with, but not really. Not really. I'm a broken person. I may seem like I'm sane sometimes, but I know I'm still broken, and I don't know what well is anymore. But I'm not going out there to try to prove that I'm a nut job by doing something crazy. No. No, these things I have to talk about. These things I have to constantly talk about. I'll bore the crap out of people left and right. I'll drive them nuts. But this is my way of therapy. This is the way of I'm reaching out to people and letting them know, look, you're not the only nut job out there. You're not the only one going through this damn crap. A lot of people are experiencing anger and frustration and rage. They don't know how to deal with it or handle it, or maybe they do, and they really got a purpose for it. I don't have a purpose for mine. If I'm going to be pissed off, it might as well be something that I'm going to be pissed off at for a reason. And I don't have any reasons. I don't like getting pissed off because it means I'm angry about something that I have no control over. I'll probably be angry at myself or some of the memories or decisions I made a long time ago. I can't change the damn past. And if I'm going to be guilty about my family, what could I have done to help my family out? Every once in a while, I'll deal with this damn shit. And I keep reminding myself, there was no way. I mean, looking back at the videos I've done, mentally at this point over here, and also talking about my history and past, there was no way in hell I was going to be able to help my family out. I did the best I could to deal with them and to take care of them. I was a caregiver for them. My son's job, take care of his family. Family comes first. The individual, screw it. The family comes first. That was drilled into my head. Now I'm all it. But for me, family is still everything. Family is still everything. Sorry. Stuff in the eye. Dried eye crap. But this is what I'm going through. A couple of days I'm going to have another therapy session. I'll be talking to my therapist about this one. Because I need to, I have to. It's my survival. Of course, I'm still being stuck with work, school, but And right now, I'm able to go to college and trying to complete it. And when I do, I don't know what happens after that. I'm just trying to take it a day at a time right now. And speaking of which, my time is out. Thank you for letting me sharing.